Hey, hi, thanks for clicking the video. My name's Ben and I'm making a game in Unity, and today I'm going to walk you through what I've been doing and some things that I've learned along the way. So yeah, stick around and cheers. I'm on the soft and juicy Cloudwater IPA today. Fresh, 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 fresh. Right, so let's get started. I'm going to start off with some things that I've learned over last week. One of them has been causing me quite a bit of. It's been a problem for a while. Wasn't quite sure what was causing it, but I figured it out, and I don't know how to resolve it, but I know how to work around it. So let me show you. Well, the problem is, or the problem that I had was, what's this doing? Where am I? Just let it go. As you're walking around the environment, the screen would sometimes flicker black, and I figured it out early days when I went to my URP to HDRP pipeline. Some of the materials needed upgrading, and I sorted that. But I have noticed another issue where I'm painting textures and they just paint black tiles, and it's really frustrating. And what it is, it's probably a bug of Unity or with HDRP, but there seems to be a limit on the number of terrain layers you can have. So at the moment I've got 2, 4, 6, 8 layers, which is fine. If I paint away, let's find an area to paint on. Over by the boat, that'll do. Take me there. Right, so we've got the boat here. This is the problem, right? So that's all great. Yep, painting fine. But watch what happens if I add a new layer and pick a sand layer. Have I got that? So now we've got 9 layers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Select a layer. Everything goes black. Now this is way worse than what I was having originally, but it's the same symptom. Like as soon as the camera tries to render that texture, the whole area goes black. And this was causing me some pain last week because I didn't realise at the time that it was related to textures. I'd obviously added an extra layer at some point and then painted on it somewhere, but for whatever reason I didn't notice it. So that's annoying. The fix is to remove the layer and it's fine, but you can't have more than 8 layers, which is really annoying. So for my prototype it's fine, because I'm just going to keep things simple. I know now that I can only have 8 layers, and I'll stick with that restriction for now. As I say, I had a quick look around, I couldn't find a solution for it. A little bit frustrating, but if you hit that issue, that's the problem. The next thing that I had was clipping with certain objects in the environment. When the camera looked at it, they would flicker in and out of shot. Again, I couldn't really work out why, what had gone on, what had changed, until I looked at my occlusion, however you pronounce this. You've got these parameters here, and I must have tinkered with them at some point and done something like this. I don't know if you need to bake it. This was the issue. Let's see if I run the game. Yeah. Oh no, it's going to cancel it. But this, yeah, basically I managed. Is it going to happen? It's not going to happen because I haven't baked it. But yeah, that was the problem. Again, a real simple fix was actually just to set the default parameters and go from there. Yeah. You learn things as you go along. The other thing that I've spent a lot of time on this week was getting my FPS up. So now we're looking at like 50, 40. It was higher yesterday. That's frustrating. It's gone down already. There we go. But in certain areas, it's nice and high. And basically, this boiled down to me getting carried away with putting 3D objects in the scene. I was hammering the rendering process with like loads of grass You know, each one of these is a 3D model. It's slightly animated, and I was just compounding the whole environment with objects all over the place. It looked pretty, but obviously it had a massive impact on performance. And at that point, I sort of cast my mind back to my days at art college, when I learnt a very hard lesson, but a very beneficial one. In many years ago at art school, we were doing a live drawing. We had our charcoal easels, and we spent about an hour and a half drawing out these fruits and bowls and stuff. And the whole class was very protective over their work, as they would be, as I was, because I'd just spent an hour and a half on it. My art tutor came along one by one, and I'll never forget how he grabbed my hand. He just grabbed it quite, not violently, but you know, he made a firm grip and shoved it onto the easel right on top of my drawing and said, "There's a square there. There's a circle over here. This this fruit's much longer. The negative spacing in here, you know, it needs to be bigger." And he just doodled all over it. And I was obviously a little bit upset at the time. I was like, just spent an hour and a half on that, you just come along and scribbled all over it. But he was right, you know, he was right to do so. What he was teaching us is not to be protective over your work. And you know, what we'd all done, the trap we'd all fallen into was just like draw. We hadn't drawn what we were supposed to be drawing, and every mark on our paper we kind of treated as like the last stroke. It was cemented in place, you know, we couldn't possibly go back and go over it. So our foundations were wrong. Him coming along and going over the top of it was a way of him showing, you know, break that mindset. And in that mess of doodles actually was a much more defined, better picture, clearer picture, you know, and a much more realistic one. So I kind of took that approach with my level, and I, bearing in mind I've probably spent, I don't know, months on building the environment, putting trees in place, grass in place, but as I say, you know, I was absolutely hammering everything. In the end, I just did this. I went brush size, largest, tree density 1000. I held down that shift key and I deleted everything all over the entire island, and I started from scratch. And obviously, like, your heart sinks when you do it and you panic a little bit. You get a little bit frustrated, but actually it's the best thing I've done, because now, as I'm building the environment, I'm much more considerate about what I'm placing where. And I've applied a new technique now for creating the same look and feel without applying all the assets that I had. So what I'm after is quite a dense looking island with lots of detail. And I was using lots of 3D objects to do that before. Now there's less so, a hell of a lot less so. But I'm hoping, and I think if you look at this video compared to last week, unless you had them side by side, you wouldn't really notice the difference. The environment still looked quite busy, and that's because I've been applying a lot more textures to the ground. I'm blending these in, and because I had reduced all those assets, I was able to put the ultra settings onto the shadows again, which again just add that extra layer of detail. So that was kind of cool, and something worth bearing in mind if you're developing a game for the first time. Look at the ground level first. You know, try and get as much detail into that as possible, and then build up with smaller plants, bigger plants, and big trees, and you'll soon have a nice looking environment. The other thing I started doing as well was carving out more in the environment. Originally it was quite flat and smooth. Now I'm trying to go for this more rugged, tunneled look. You know, you can see that there's curvature in this path coming down, there's bumps everywhere. Just gives the environment a bit more texture and detail, I think. Areas like this, playing with the brushes, and you know, bringing the environment up, and creating some rockery. The other thing I've done in the background there is started to create these like fake mountains, which just give it a bit more depth. I mean, I need to tidy them up. If you look down there, they're quite ugly at the moment, but once the ocean's there, the sky's quite nice, I think, and just add that that detail, you know, that takes your eyes away. So yeah, there are the three main things that I did to sort of get my game back into a state where I could carry on and develop it. Just gonna have another little drink. One other thing that I've started on is the story, and I've been writing it in the past tense, which is making it a lot easier actually to write. Originally it was, you know, you'd hit these orbs and it would trigger essentially like an emotional thought on the scene you're in. Now it's like a playing back something that that happens. So this is yeah, as I say, this is making the story a lot easier to write, and it's actually helped direct me around the story as well. Like now I've decided it's going to be more about your mental well-being, your mental state. You know, considering this game is based in the COVID times, 2020. There was a lot of crazy stuff going on in that year. A lot of people having to learn how to survive and like adjust to a new world, really. And I think it's easy to underestimate just how much stress and pressure that puts people under. And I really wanted to sort of try and highlight that in the game. You know, the character you're playing is going through all that stress, and he's come to this island to sort of look after his mental well-being. Unfortunately for him, the ending isn't happy. Probably I won't spoil it for the seven viewers of this video. I won't spoil it for you, but yeah, it's not a happy ending. Partly because I don't want a happy ending. I think there's too many happy endings in films and in games, and life isn't all hunky-dory. So yeah, I'm going to have a nice dark ending. One of my favourite films written by Alex Garland. I think it might have been directed by him as well. Ex Machina. I loved it just because it just didn't have that happy ending. You know, people weren't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it as a viewer, and it's like, shit, yeah, okay. It sort of takes you back a little bit. You know, it doesn't happen often. So yeah, that's where I'm going with the storyline. It's like mental well-being. Putting in, there's a lot of, like, I guess, personal thoughts and situations that have happened to me over COVID as well that are playing into it. Not that that's like not like this is my story or anything like that, but just trying to use real world references for this to make it a bit more interesting. Is that it? I think that's probably it for the game. Yeah, this week's been quite. I've learnt a lot. I've got a lot more direction now. I know what I need to do for the prototype. I had a little chat, an email with the publishers earlier today, and they gave me a bit more direction on what they expect from a prototype, which is, you know, I've got to think about that. But it's not what I was building originally, which actually makes my life a lot easier because I can cut down on a lot of stuff that I was planning to do, and just provide some of the core mechanics of the game. Load of the environment still needs fixing. As you can see, like, there's objects floating all over the place where I've been shuffling the environment around and repainting everything, and yeah, look at all that. Oh, that's all broken. Whee. But there's whole new areas now. Like, this didn't exist before. The camps, you know, it's all good stuff. Yes, I'm really happy with this week, and I just wanted to say actually thanks to the people that have been reaching out to me on email and through Twitter, offering your support and your media. That's really cool. I really do appreciate that. It's great that you know, that you're sort of putting yourself out there and, you know, asking to be part of it, and it's really flattering. And you know, I'm more than happy to try and get as many people on board as I can. You know, being realistic. And I do appreciate it. So thanks for stepping forward on that. some other bits that I'm waiting for. We got some more music coming soon. The map has been redone. Got some art assets that I'm going to put in later. Yeah, that's about it, really. So, yeah. Thanks and cheers, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.